Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might save your intimate life. If you're a man over 60 struggling with firmness during intimacy, there's something critical you need to understand right now. The wrong position can destroy up to 40% of your hardness, even when your erection starts out strong. That's not a guess. That's physiology. And most men have no idea this is happening. Think about it. You finally get aroused, everything seems ready, and then within minutes, things start fading. You blame your age, your medication, your stress. But what if the real culprit is simply how you're positioning your body during sex? What if small adjustments in angle, pressure, and blood flow could restore the confidence you thought was gone forever? I'm Dr. Charles Bennett, retired urologist with over 3 decades specializing in mature male sexual wellness. I've worked with thousands of older gentlemen, from corporate executives to military veterans, and I can tell you this with absolute certainty. Your body hasn't given up on you. It just needs you to work smarter, not harder. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how 5 specific positions can transform your bedroom experience by using gravity, circulation, and strategic angles to maximize every ounce of firmness you've got. Before we go further, you deserve to know who's talking to you and why you should listen. After retiring from clinical practice, I dedicated myself to education, breaking down the taboos, and sharing what actually works based on anatomy, not mythology. What you're about to learn isn't based on wishful thinking or internet rumors. It's grounded in how blood vessels function, how gravity affects circulation, and how simple mechanical adjustments can produce measurable improvements in firmness and duration. So if you've been struggling, feeling embarrassed, or avoiding intimacy altogether, I want you to know you're in the right place, and you're about to discover solutions that work with your body's natural design, not against it. Before we dive into the positions themselves, I want you to do something honest with yourself. No judgment, no shame, just honest reflection. Ask yourself this question: how many different positions have you actually used in the last 6 months? Not in your entire life. Not back when you were younger. In the last 6 months. If you're like most men I've counseled, the answer is probably 1, maybe 2. And that's the problem. You've fallen into a routine, doing what's familiar, what's comfortable, what requires the least effort or explanation. But here's what happens. Routine becomes restriction. And restriction means you're not giving your body the mechanical advantages it desperately needs to maintain firmness and performance. Sexual monotony isn't just boring, it's physiologically limiting. When you keep using the same position over and over, you're forcing your body to work against the same physical constraints, the same gravitational pull, the same pressure points. And as you age, those constraints become harder and harder to overcome. So right now, I'm asking you to acknowledge where you are without beating yourself up about it. If your intimate life has become predictable or infrequent, that's not a character flaw. That's just information. And information is the first step toward change. Once you understand that technique matters as much as biology, everything shifts. You stop feeling powerless and start feeling curious. And curiosity is the gateway to rediscovery. Position 1. Woman on top. Let's start with the single most effective position for men dealing with moderate firmness issues. Woman on top, also known as cowgirl, but with a crucial modification. This isn't about novelty or spicing things up. This is about physics working in your favor instead of against you. Here's what happens anatomically. When you're lying on your back and your partner is on top, gravity pulls blood downward into your pelvis and penis instead of away from it. You're not fighting an uphill battle. Your cardiovascular system gets a break. Your muscles can relax. And most importantly, you maintain firmness with far less physical effort. But the key modification is this. Instead of your partner riding up and down vigorously, which can actually cause loss of hardness through repeated disconnection, encourage her to grind forward and back. This keeps you fully inside while providing continuous stimulation. The pressure stays constant, the angle stays optimized, and your erection stays firm because there's zero gravitational stress. Another advantage? You're free to use your hands. You can stimulate her body, make eye contact, and stay emotionally connected, which feeds arousal and helps sustain your response. This position removes performance pressure while maximizing pleasure for both partners. It's intimate without being exhausting. I've had patients tell me this single adjustment brought back their confidence after years of struggle. They stopped worrying about losing firmness mid-act because their body was finally positioned to succeed. And that mental shift, that relief from anxiety, often becomes the tipping point that allows everything else to fall into place. Here's something I need you to hear, and I mean really hear. You don't need to perform anymore. You need to receive. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Somewhere along the way, many men internalize the idea that being a good lover means being physically dominant, driving the action, carrying the weight. And maybe that worked when you were 30. But at 60 and beyond, that mindset becomes a liability. Your body is still capable of incredible pleasure and connection, but it needs you to stop forcing it into outdated roles. Letting your partner take the lead, literally getting on top, isn't about giving up control. It's about strategic positioning. It's about letting gravity, circulation, and relaxation do the heavy lifting so your body can focus on sensation and response. This is a profound shift in how you think about masculinity in the bedroom. Real strength isn't about exertion, it's about intelligence. It's about knowing your body well enough to position it for success. And when you embrace that, when you release the need to prove yourself through effort alone, you often discover that intimacy becomes more enjoyable, more sustainable, and yes, more satisfying for both of you. So give yourself permission to lean back. Let her move. Let your body rest in a position that supports blood flow instead of fighting it. That's not surrender. That's mastery. Position 2. Deep spooning, side by side. The second position I recommend, especially for men dealing with circulation issues or those who want to combine physical function with emotional intimacy, is what I call deep spooning. You've probably heard of spooning before, but this variation is specifically designed to optimize blood flow while creating closeness. Both of you lie on your sides, with you behind your partner. Your bodies are aligned, her back against your chest, your legs slightly bent together. From this angle, penetration is slower, gentler, and requires almost no muscular effort from you. Your heart isn't working overtime. Your breathing stays calm. And because you're both horizontal, blood distribution throughout your body remains balanced and efficient. What makes this position particularly effective is the angle of entry. When you're lying on your side, the natural curvature allows for deeper, more sustained contact without strain. There's no weight pressing down, no need to hold yourself up, no frantic thrusting that can cause you to lose firmness. Everything moves at a slower, more deliberate pace, which gives your body time to maintain its response. But there's another layer to this position that matters just as much as the mechanics: intimacy. You can wrap your arms around your partner. You can whisper, kiss her neck, breathe together. That emotional connection triggers oxytocin and dopamine, hormones that enhance arousal and support erectile function. It's not just physical, it's psychological. And when both systems work together, your erections stay stronger longer. Many men tell me this position feels almost meditative. There's no pressure to perform acrobatics or maintain a certain pace. You're simply present, connected, and allowing your body to respond naturally. And often, that relaxed state is exactly what unlocks the firmness that disappears when you're tense and striving. Position 3. Her back at the edge of the bed. Now let's talk about a position that's often overlooked but incredibly effective. Your partner lying on her back at the edge of the bed while you stand beside it. This might sound simple, but the biomechanics here are powerful, especially for men over 60. When you're standing and she's lying down, gravity works in your favor in a completely different way. Blood flows downward naturally as you stand upright, pooling into your pelvis and penis. You're not lying flat where circulation has to work horizontally. You're vertical, and your cardiovascular system loves that. The angle also allows you to penetrate at a trajectory that maximizes stimulation while minimizing effort. Another benefit? You have full control over depth and rhythm without having to support your body weight. Your legs are stable. Your core stays engaged but not strained. You can use your hands to hold her hips, stimulate her body, or adjust positioning without collapsing or losing balance. It's mechanically efficient in every sense. This position also gives you visual access, which matters more than many men realize. Arousal isn't just physical, it's visual, mental, emotional. Being able to see your partner, watch her responses, maintain that connection, all of that feeds your nervous system and helps sustain your erection. You're not buried in pillows or struggling to maintain an awkward angle. You're present, engaged, and your body responds accordingly. For men dealing with lower back issues or knee problems, this position is a godsend. You're not crawling around or contorting yourself. You're simply standing in a natural, comfortable posture while physics does the rest. And that ease, that lack of physical strain, often translates directly into better performance and longer duration. Position 4. Seated in a chair. Tantric lap. The fourth position I want to share is one rooted in ancient practices, but backed by modern understanding of physiology. The tantric lap position, where you sit in a sturdy chair and your partner straddles you face to face. This isn't just about novelty. It's about creating the ideal conditions for sustained arousal and ejaculatory control. When you're seated, your body is in a state of complete relaxation. There's no tension in your legs, no strain in your back, no need to hold yourself up or maintain a difficult posture. Your spine is supported. Your breathing can deepen naturally. And when your body is relaxed, your nervous system shifts out of fight-or-flight mode and into parasympathetic response, which is essential for maintaining firmness. Your partner controls the movement, rocking gently in your lap, which again removes performance pressure from you. But what makes this position particularly powerful is the opportunity for synchronized breathing. When you're face-to-face, chest-to-chest, you can match your breath rhythms. Inhale together. Exhale together. This creates a meditative state that reduces anxiety, lowers cortisol, and extends your capacity to stay hard without ejaculating prematurely. In traditional tantric practices, this position is used specifically for prolonging intimacy and deepening emotional connection. Modern science confirms what ancient practitioners knew intuitively. Slow, connected sex with controlled breathing enhances blood flow, balances hormones, and activates pleasure centers in the brain more effectively than rushed, disconnected encounters. Many of my patients report that this position transformed not just their physical performance, but their entire relationship with intimacy. They stopped viewing sex as a race to finish and started experiencing it as a shared journey. And paradoxically, when you stop trying to rush toward climax, your ability to maintain an erection often improves dramatically. Position 5. Missionary with pelvic pillow. Finally, let's talk about the classic missionary position. But here's the twist. You're going to use a pelvic pillow or folded towel under your partner's hips to elevate her pelvis by about 4 to 6 inches. This single modification transforms missionary from an exhausting, circulation-limiting position into an ergonomically optimized one. When her hips are elevated, the angle of penetration changes completely. Instead of having to thrust downward at an awkward angle that strains your back and restricts blood flow, you're entering at a trajectory that requires minimal effort while maximizing stimulation for both partners. The elevation also tilts her pelvis in a way that increases internal pressure, which helps you stay firm even if your erection isn't at full strength. Another advantage? You can shift some of your weight onto your forearms or knees without collapsing onto your partner. This reduces the muscular load on your core and legs, which means less cardiovascular demand and better oxygen flow to your entire body, including your penis. You're not gasping for air or feeling your heart race. You're moving deliberately, sustainably, with physics on your side. This modified missionary also preserves intimacy. You're face-to-face. You can kiss, make eye contact, feel emotionally connected. And that connection, that sense of being truly present with your partner, feeds arousal in ways that pure mechanics never could. Your brain releases oxytocin and dopamine. Your nervous system calms, and your body responds with stronger, more reliable firmness. I recommend this position for men who don't want to give up the traditional approach, but need a smarter way to make it work. It's familiar enough to feel comfortable, but optimized enough to produce real results. And for many men, that balance between tradition and innovation is exactly what they need to rebuild their confidence. Now that you understand these 5 positions individually, let me give you the framework that ties them all together. The progression protocol. This is how you use these positions strategically, not randomly, to maximize your success and minimize pressure. Here's how it works. You start with the easiest position, the one that requires the least effort and offers the most gravitational support. That's usually woman on top or deep spooning. You begin there, let your body warm up, let arousal build naturally without strain. Once you feel confident and firmly engaged, you can transition to a position that requires slightly more effort, like standing at the edge of the bed or seated in a chair. The key principle is this: you never start with the hardest position. You build momentum. You let your cardiovascular system adapt. You give your nervous system time to settle into arousal without triggering performance anxiety. And as your confidence grows throughout the encounter, your body responds with sustained firmness because you're not overwhelming it from the start. This protocol is adaptive. If at any point you feel yourself starting to lose hardness, you simply shift back to an easier position. There's no shame, no failure. You're just being intelligent about how you manage your body's resources. And often, that shift alone, that removal of panic and pressure, is enough to restore firmness within moments. I've seen this approach transform men who thought they were finished sexually. They stopped viewing sex as a pass-fail test and started treating it as a dynamic, responsive experience. And that mental shift, combined with smart positioning, gave them back years of intimacy they thought were lost forever. We've covered a lot today, so let me bring it all together with one central truth. As a mature man, your advantage isn't strength. It's intelligence. You've lived long enough to understand your body, to recognize patterns, to learn from experience. And when you apply that wisdom to your intimate life, you become a better lover than you ever were at 30. Young men rely on raw virility. They don't need strategy because their bodies compensate for ignorance with sheer hormonal force. But that's not sustainable. And it's certainly not nuanced. What you have now, what age gives you if you're willing to claim it, is the ability to work with your body instead of against it, to position yourself for success, to remove unnecessary strain, to prioritize connection over conquest. These 5 positions aren't just mechanical tricks. They're invitations to rethink what intimacy means at this stage of your life, to release outdated expectations, to embrace a slower, smarter, more satisfying approach. And when you do that, when you give yourself permission to be strategic rather than forceful, you often discover that your body still has so much to offer. You're not broken. You're not finished. You're simply in a new chapter, one that rewards wisdom over vigor. And the men who understand that, who adapt and evolve rather than resist, they're the ones who continue enjoying deep, fulfilling, intimate lives well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond. So start tonight. Pick one position. Try it without judgment. Pay attention to how your body responds. And remember, this isn't about becoming who you were. It's about becoming the best version of who you are right now. That's where your power lives. That's where your pleasure waits. Go claim it. Disclaimer: this content is for general knowledge only. It does not replace evaluation by a specialized professional. If you have doubts or symptoms, seek your specialist.